Hey, horror fans. Once again, it is me, the Horror Mizamani G, doing my, I guess I could call these monthly live streams where I'm going to be talking about horror. And my guest this time are Ken and Ashley Sledge from Sledgehammer Horror. Say goodbye. Hey, say hello, everyone.
How's it
Hello.
going, everybody?
Yes, yes. Got a lot of chat is filled with people in here. Let's see who's in here. We have good friend Nathan Mills.
Hey, Nathan.
Our little brother.
Got my good friend Russell.
Hey, Russell.
What's
That's
up, Russ?
right. Yeah. Yes, and yes, everyone, please hit that like button.
Mhm.
Like button. Let's see who else is in here. Looks like there's just mainly those two are in here, and we have let's see, Butterfly, Tate and Dove,
What's up,
Hey,
Tatum?
Tatum.
and let's see, Tommy Lee Jones is in the chat right here as well.
What's
Hi,
up, brother?
Yeah.
I do want to say before anybody, please no Scream spoilers. It's already been spoiled for Ashley and I. If you're in the chat, please don't reveal the killers. Please don't do that. Don't be that person. It's already been ruined for Ashley and I.
And
Don't do that
Nathan
for
Mills
anybody
is
else,
also
please.
in the chat here. Yeah, I don't know what's been going on lately. I've been trying my best to avoid all the screen updates that I've been seeing lately, and all of a sudden now I'm hearing people are spoiling Scream 6
Yeah.
out. And it's like, dude, can't you guys wait until the goddamn movie comes out?
We were
before you
sent
even
the.
start? Yeah,
Me
just
and
wait
Ashley were
for the movie.
sent. Somebody sent us the video
I
of
was
the
so mad.
killer reveal. We didn't know what it was. We opened it and it was the killer reveal in Scream 6. And I was
Yeah.
like, why the fuck would you send me that? I
Mhm.
don't want to see that.
You know,
So it's a bummer, but it is what it is. There's nothing we can do now. But it is what it is. We'll still go watch it. It's still a Scream movie.
yeah.
But I was really bummed at the person that sent it to me. Like, dude, you should have known, at least told us what it was, at least given me a heads up. But it is what it is. It's a movie at the end. So in the end of the day, it's a movie, and in a year from now, the
It's still a
spoiler won't
movie.
matter.
Yeah, it's still a movie, and yeah, sorry that happened to you guys. So please do not send me anything revolving this. Not send me anything. Don't DM it to me. I would like to be surprised.
Mhm.
Mm.
Hey, Dice, what's up?
Hey, Dice, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining
The
us here.
amazing Dice Roland, one of my
Yeah.
heroes.
Well, yes, we had her on our previous streams on the horror hangout stream. She joined us. When I think it was the first one we did in January.
Oh,
Mhm.
nice. Yeah, Dice is a god amongst men.
Yes.
There's no one I would rather work with at night than Dice, except for you, Monty, of course.
Oh,
But
thank you.
anytime we get the chance to work with them, we're super, super excited. Dice
Yeah.
is somebody that genuinely means a lot to Ashley and I both. So everybody in the chat, we got Tatum, we got Russell, we got Tommy Lee Jones, which is
Mhm.
pretty dope. Nathan, like I said, Nathan's like my little brother. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of amazing people here in the chat
We
tonight.
love you all.
Love every single one of you.
Yeah, it's like we always say, the dice be rolling.
Bill,
Hey, Bill.
William, you see William Brayman?
I see him. What's going on, Bill?
That is our best friend since we were like 4. Without this guy right here,
Mhm.
without Bill, this channel would be called Ken's Horror Corner. It would have never been. He's the one that was like, dude, why don't you do Sledgehammer Horror? And I was like, Bill, you goddamn genius. Why didn't I think of that?
yeah. It plays with your names.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, so basically, we are going to talk about some of our favorite horror films that came out, some last year and obviously some this year. We're going to start off, obviously, with mostly everyone's favorite, The Cabin in the Woods. And I think we all know why we all enjoy watching this film. Joss Whedon came up with a concept that sort of poked fun at slasher tropes and setting tropes, such as, basically we've seen almost every time when we see Cabin in the Woods. When you guys first saw this film, what was your first reaction to seeing The Cabin in the Woods?
I loved it. I mean, it's got horror, it's got comedy. Yeah, it was a good time. I loved it all around.
Mm-hmm. I adored it the first time I watched it. I went into it with absolutely zero expectations. I thought it was going to be more of a
Like a
like
stalker.
no, I thought it was going to be more like a parody. Like making fun of horror movies.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
it's not very parody.
No, it's
at
not
all.
parody at all. I remember watching it and just being blown away. Like the title is so lame and the movie is so smart and original and it's like she said, it's very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Sitterson and Hadley are so funny in this movie.
Yeah, they're dry humor. That's definitely what you like in comedy.
My gosh. And this movie could logically explain every single horror movie that's ever been made, why it happened. This could connect to every horror universe there is. And it's
very smart movie for sure.
Very intelligent movie. And it's funny, Ashley and I wouldn't watch it because my son and I were big fans of the video game Left 4 Dead. And Left 4 Dead had put a thing out about how the universes were connected, the Left 4 Dead universe and the Cabin in the Woods universe. And for those of you that have never played the video game Left 4 Dead or Left 4 Dead 2, there's big zombies in there. There's the Spitter, there's the Boomer, there's the Witch, there's the Tank. And if you look at when I don't want to spoil it because there's people in the chat that haven't seen it, but there's a person, there's a part in the movie where they're going down an elevator and there's a bunch of boxes filled with monsters.
I know you're talking about too.
You can see the Boomer from Left 4 Dead and you can see the Witch.
It's like their version. Like all of the different monsters down there are like a different, like, you know what it is.
The Boomer and the Witch are identical.
Yeah, but
they are identical to the ones from Left 4 Dead because of that little Easter egg.
They have so many different monsters down there, but like one looks like Pinhead and stuff like that. They have their version of the horror villains, which is amazing. Yeah,
the Sugar Plum Fairy.
Yeah.
Do you think Drew and Josh actually did that on purpose by adding those characters in those boxes?
Yes.
Because
I think Drew and Josh are both huge horror fans, and I think that was kind of their heart and soul, putting it out there to the horror world. Like this is something that we love, and we wanted to put some of our favorite monsters because you got some of the universal monsters in there. You got huge snakes, you got huge spiders. Like I said, you got the Left 4 Dead creatures.
Yeah.
There's so many of these amazing little Easter eggs in this one scene. Throughout the whole movie, there's Easter eggs.
Yeah, like the little thing looks like the what do you call that thing?
What are you talking about?
The box, the thing.
The configuration, just like in Hellraiser.
Oh, the lament configuration.
Yeah, the lament configuration.
Like that.
And there's just so many different Easter eggs throughout the whole movie, and you got Thor before he was Thor in the movie. I love the Harbinger. I'm still on speakerphone, aren't I? I think that's brilliant.
That scene was funny.
It cracks me up every time.
Yeah, I've always been like the first time we saw this movie. I remember walking out of the theater just being amazed.
Like you want to watch it again. Like that's a movie that you would want to, go back and watch again for a second or a third time, even in the theater.
We did a live table reading.
We did?
With Sweet and Spooky of The Cabin in the Woods, where we played characters of Cabin in the Woods, and we did a table reading of the film.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It was a blast, and that we've never done anything like that since, and, we never did anything like that before, but we were so drawn to it. One, because it was Sweet and Spooky, and she's a good friend of ours, and two, because it was The Cabin in the Woods, which is a movie that, I would say is one of the best movies of the last 20 years, not just horror movies, one of the best movies of the last 20 years, especially when it comes to the writing. It's just like it's very intelligent writing for such a stupid title of the movie.
Yeah, no, because it's so generic. The Cabin in the Woods.
I almost feel like they did that on purpose.
Oh, they definitely
did.
Just call it The Cabin in the Woods. We'll make this bland, type title, and then give you this movie.
Well, even if you remember, like the advertising leading up to the movie was so like it's a cabin in the woods and something happens at the cabin.
Like you have no idea what you're about to get into.
Yeah, you think it's another Evil Dead type movie.
That's perfect.
Yeah. The marketing for this movie was just absolutely fantastic. It had fantastic marketing to this film.
Yeah. Tatum Duck wants to know, is that a Jaws teeth shirt that you're wearing?
It is.
It 100% is.
I got him that for Father's Day.
You're gonna need a bigger boat, baby. Yeah. One of my favorite creature features of all time.
Because I remember when I went to go see Cabin in the Woods, and I like how it begins. It actually begins with the two guys and Amy Ecker in the whatchamacallit. It's like, what in the world's going on? Why are we showing this before you actually get to the actual people going to Cabin in the Woods? I like how they started that film. It throws you way off as far as what's happening.
Yeah, you think it's like not another teen movie or something like that.
But what I love about that too is like Sitterson and Hadley, those guys are so funny. Even if you watch them in the background, and I hate to do this on your channel, Monty, but if you've never watched a Sledgehammer horror video before, we did a Didn't See That Coming episode on the cabin in the woods, and it's one of my favorite episodes we've ever done of Didn't See That Coming. It was a lot of work.
You say that about every.
Well, I feel like everyone gets better, but the amount of work that went into that one, not just for the editing and the writing, but the amount of work it came with copyright issues that we ran into for that film.
That did take a lot.
It took a lot to be able to make that episode happen. So it grew my love for that episode, but it was worth it because I thought it grew
your hate.
Oh, for a while. I don't ever want to watch that movie again after that. That's what I thought. I was like, I'll never watch this movie again. But yeah, it was it's a very fun movie. It's a fun, but it's scary. Like this movie ends so scarily, and we're not gonna spoil it obviously. I see there's people in the chat. When you see me looking over here, Monty, I'm not ignoring you. I
kind of figured you were looking at the chat in the chat as far as the YouTube channel is concerned. Yeah, but yeah, it does have that ending that you did not expect that type of an ending, and I got to give Drew and Josh credit for coming up with an ending that we normally do not see in films like this.
No. I would have never guessed that was the end.
Yeah,
that we were gonna get.
I mean, but that is amazing. Like, do it. Go all out.
And it looks great. And people have to forget, because she has such a small role. The Queen is in this movie. Sigourney Weaver.
Oh yeah.
She has a good role in this movie.
The zombies, they're terrifying.
The Buckners.
They are so scary, and like their weapons that they use.
It's 2 a.m. over here. Must be in England.
Oh wow! Well, thanks for staying up late with us.
Yeah,
man.
Thanks for staying up late. Staying up late. Yeah. Because
typing on my typewriter, he's saying all Monty G and no Sledgehammer make me a dull boy. Typewriter.
Yeah, because when she makes her appearance at the end, towards the end of the film, oh wow! But then again, I was like, well, then again, she fits that role and that character.
Absolutely.
So I can't imagine anybody else playing that character but Sigourney Weaver. She's she's the queen. So it was cool to see her in that role.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think about the other actors in the film, like say Christine Connolly?
Love them. Yeah. I love the chemistry between our teens. I think Marty is phenomenal.
He's
so funny.
He's definitely the comic that like relief.
Yeah.
And then you have these people that are they're supposed to be like college students and they are really smart, but then they act like stupid teens. And
remember, you can't say why.
I'm not going to say why, but the way they flip is just perfect. Like the way they they can act like they're these high scholars, and then they can switch into these dumb teenagers.
The way that they acted out those scenes, and like you feel like a genuine kinship, like when they're out by the river, and he's like, "What's that in the water?" It looks like my girlfriend, and he throws her in the river. Like, what's that next to her? It's a very rare handsome guy. Don't drown the handsome guy. They're almost extinct.
The handsome guy.
There's genuine parts and there's still like parts that make me laugh out loud when he's like, "I dare you to make out with that moose." Like that whole sequence. Cracks me up.
That's amazing.
That's obviously a wolf, Marty. Like that whole sequence is so funny, and like I said, I feel like for as bad of a reputation, especially that Whedon has, it feels like that set would have been a lot of fun. So that's something that when I watch film now, I after being on multiple sets, I feel like that's something you look for.
Yeah, I think you can definitely tell when someone has chemistry and when they're having a good time on set versus when they're not. Yeah, for sure.
And especially when you have Sitterson and Hadley.
Yeah.
Like those dudes, like even if you get a chance, Monty, do you by any chance own Cabin in the Woods on Blu-ray?
Oh, no, not yet. No.
I can't recommend it enough, man, especially if you're a special features guy. Watch the special features on this film and just watch Sitterson and Hadley. Like these guys had so much fun throughout the whole film. Like, watching the special features is something that Ashley and I love to do to try to learn as much, especially when we're doing a Didn't See That Coming episode.
It's like they're best friends.
Yeah, they're like best friends.
Like they grew up together almost. Like they go off of each other.
They definitely kept the laughing going even when the cameras weren't rolling. Like they kept everything light. Everybody had fun. But when we do a Didn't See That Coming episode, Ashley literally we watch the movie, we watch all the special features, and Ashley writes like a 30-page syllabus about the film, and then we go in and we cut it up, and like she does all this work for our Didn't See That Comings. So I'm pitching it again. Watch our episode because Ashley worked her ass off on these, and I'm so proud to work next to her.
It's a shared.
Yeah, you know, that's, you got to do what you got to do. Yeah, because I just finished writing up my review for Infinity Pool.
Oh, nice.
What'd you think?
Oh, very weird film.
Okay.
Yeah, very weird film. But if you saw Possessor, and if you enjoyed it, you probably will enjoy this film. Because I didn't see Professor, I didn't see Antiviral, and I saw this film now, so I'm not familiar how Brandon incorporates body horror and some of his writing and some of how he films his films. Yeah, so to me, it's very, very weird film, sort of like I don't know if you ever saw Altered States.
Oh, I know that it's a Cronenberg film.
Yeah, it's a Cronenberg. Yeah,
I know that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree with Possessor. How do you say that one? Like,
yeah, I mean, there's body
movie.
horror in this film, and you know, it's will get gory at times. That's what you expect from him, you know, him and David. But if you haven't seen Altered States, I would suggest you take a look at that film first, because if you haven't seen Altered States, you really have to check out that film, because when it comes to psychedelic moments, that's one of the best films that has psychedelic moments in it. That and Mandy.
Oh, I love Mandy.
Mm-hmm.
Love Mandy.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Knock at the Cabin yet?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I reviewed that film. That's a pretty good film. Pretty good film. I really did enjoy it. Dave Bautista carries that film as his best performance I've seen him done as an actor.
I will say that I cried like a baby in that movie.
He totally did.
I'm the emotional one of the group.
He is. Every time he cries, I just look over.
I mean, I can see why. I can see why, you know, because it does have some sad moments in the film, and I won't say anything more about that film because I want people to go see that film.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Tommy. Evil Dead, the special features on Evil. Are you talking about 2013 or the OG? Because the special features on the Evil Dead 2013 reboot are fantastic. You learn a lot about the behind the scenes on those special features.
Yeah, I gotta get that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I gotta get that. Yeah, because you know, one of the aspects I loved about Cabin in the Woods is how they take typical tropes that we see in horror movies and use those as a sacrifices. Sacrifice on the, I don't want to spoil too much anymore. But I like how they did that, you know, whether it's the jock, the virgin, the whore, the dopey guy. I forgot what they call party.
The fool.
Yeah,
the fool. Yeah, the fool.
I love how when they get to Dana, she's like, virgin? We work with what we got.
We work with
virgin? He's like, well, we work with what we got. I cracked up laughing because that was such a funny line. But yeah, but that's what I truly liked about the film. Obviously, when the stuff happens, I thought that was pretty interesting. But I think when we get towards the third act, that's when the film really takes into high gear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those films that you're always, after the bird in the wall, you're always anticipating what's going to happen. What's going on? There's something definitely weird going on here. What is it? After the bird in the wall. After that moment, you're like, something's going on here. I need to figure this out.
Yeah, I was quite surprised that Chris Hemsworth had made some movies and they were not released before Thor came out. So I was quite surprised he was in some of these movies, and this one caught me by surprise. I says, "Wow, he's in this movie, and he's actually pretty good."
No, he's great.
Yeah.
But I've always been a Chris Hemsworth fan. I think that Chris Hemsworth is very, very good. Whether it's in, you know, the ever expanding Marvel universe or I'm very excited to see him playing Hulk Hogan in the Hulk Hogan biopic. So I mean, I've always been a big Hemsworth fan. I think he's good. I don't understand the people that smash on the guy. I don't get it.
I mean, he's
I
not
know,
that
yeah.
either.
Yeah, when I heard he got
I hate
cast I heard when he got cast to play Hulk Hogan, I said, perfect. He
Yeah.
could definitely pull that off.
I think so too.
I need to see him with the handlebar mustache now.
Right.
Yeah,
Chris
because
Hemsworth going, brother.
yeah, he could definitely pull that off. So
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a good film.
Yeah.
Now I wonder who they're going to get to play Vince.
Right.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, so a very nice, good film, Cabin in the Woods, very good film. It's always good when you see directors take actors who they work with. So I wasn't surprised to see Amy Acker in this particular film. She's been in, she was in Buffy, then Angel, and almost any other thing that Joss Whedon does, she's done, and she's been in it. But she's also done other TV shows and movies. But I really did love her role in this one.
Same.
All right, now so we're going to change gears now. We're going to go with a different film, a different tone, and that's The Dark and the Wicked.
Yeah, completely different tone.
Way different tone.
Yeah.
Way different tone, way different atmosphere. I have to rewatch this just to refresh my memory about this film, because a lot of people didn't talk about this film. I saw a few people talk about it, and then I actually did enjoy the film. I like what they did. I like the performances in the film. What was your reaction when you first saw this particular film?
You want
to? It should be known. This is probably my second favorite horror movie of all time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It shot up the list. We're watching this movie. I've told the story before, so people that know me know this. Ashley and I were watching this movie at like
2 p.m. Like it was in the afternoon. Like sun was shining. Like it was a nice day out.
And it scared me.
Yeah.
I was genuinely
we're vampires
scared.
And we have all the blinds shut, to watch a movie. And he's like, oh, we can open the blinds.
You can open the blinds a little bit if you want, babe.
It's just this movie's so like dreadful. It's so dreary, and it's just a feeling of dread the entire time you're watching it.
And what I love about this movie, and it's something I'm going to say about not just The Dark and the Wicked, but when we get to Smile as well, they are not reliant on jump scares.
No.
These movies have just a long, uneasy feeling, and you're constantly like, please let something break the tension. Please let something break the tension. My heart is pounding. And there's just like one line in The Dark and the Wicked that just like resonates with me all the time, is when the preacher is like, you think a wolf cares if you don't believe he's a wolf when you're out in the wild? Like that line to me is just such a great line.
That's with the preacher, one of the parts where you find out like he wasn't really there, like that made the hairs on like my arm stand up
when
like,
she says her name. And he's like, why are you saying that name? Who put you up to this?
And you realize that it wasn't even him that was really there. That literally freaked me out.
I was
there are some creepy moments in this particular film. And I love the setup in The Dark and the Wicked, because you really don't know where it's going. Obviously, the tone is way different. It's a very dark, dreary atmosphere. It's one of the things I liked about the film, and it definitely tricks you. And again, no actual jump scares in the film at all.
No,
I think there's maybe one that would be considered a jump scare, and it would be the shower scene.
Yeah, the shower one got me too. That scared the crap out of me.
But overall, there's not.
I feel like this isn't a movie that you watch if like you're down in the dumps. Like
no,
you have to be in like a good mood to watch this movie and to want to watch this movie, because it's just gonna like bring you down a little bit. Like
it's a sad movie.
Yeah,
like this movie has an overall glum feeling. But man, it's so well acted, so well directed. I'm not trying to, I dropped that name, but Julie Oliver Touchstone, who plays our carrot cutting mother. Ashley and I have become very good friends with Julie, and she is just the sweetest lady in the world. So like, being able to reach out and talk to her, and that really enhanced and she gave us some behind the scenes on how they did certain scenes. I've seen in the chat, not a lot of people have seen The Dark and the Wicked. It's available on Shudder, guys.
Yeah.
The Shudder exclusive.
Yeah, it's a Shudder exclusive.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah,
it is so worth it.
It really is.
Like I said, a 37-year-old guy, I thought, I'm desensitized to horror. Movies don't scare me anymore. And this movie left me with the ultimate feeling of dread. Like, I was just like so scared watching this movie. And like this scene, there's a scene, and this isn't much of a spoiler, but where Michael is looking out the window, and I'm not gonna say what he sees out the window, but he sees something out the window, and then behind him he hears his mother singing. And he turns around, and he's like, it's not a jump scare, but it's one of those moments where you're just like, oh my God, what's going to happen now? What's going to happen now? And they just drag it out. And they don't show anything.
You almost want a jump scare so then it can just be over with, but they don't give it to you. They're just like, you're just going to feel this anxiety.
Yeah. They just give me the jump scare, please, so it can scare me and we can break this tension.
We can break this tension so we can. Oh, yeah. By the way, if people don't know my favorite horror movie of all time now, it's The Exorcist.
The Exorcist.
Yeah,
The Exorcist. Yeah, because Tatum Love asked me that. I announced it, but just so everyone knows, most everyone knows that my favorite horror movie of all time is The Exorcist, because I've told this story to everyone before. My mother, I went to see The Exorcist when it first came out because I'm a 70s baby. I mean, I'm a 70s. I grew up during the 70s. I wanted to see The Exorcist when it first came out in theaters. Mother said, no, you can't. Yeah, my mother said, no, you can't see it. It's too scary. So my friends and I snuck and saw it. And I could tell everyone, yes, it was crowded. Yes, people left the theater because they either threw up or they got shocked in some of the scenes. Most people always thought it was the scene where she's doing something with their crucifixion, but no, it wasn't that. It was the scene when the doctors are seeing Megan and she's jumping up and down the top of the bed, and then the devil comes out and he tells the doctors to F her, and she starts masturbating, and that's when most people left out the theater. They say, "What the? Whoa! No!"
Right.
The other scene obviously is after the scene with the crucifixion. She turns her head all around, and most other people, that's when people threw up and left the theater, and people were screaming and hollering. Yeah, so those things actually did happen when The Exorcist first came out.
That's so awesome.
I know. I'm jealous that you got to see it like in theater. I know it'd be a crazy experience for sure.
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience. Yes. Yeah, I guess I could consider myself lucky. I got to see a lot of horror films that came out during the 70s when they came out in the theaters. For some reason, my mother took my brother and I go see Jaws when it first came out.
Yes.
And Jaws came out. Yeah, it was crowded. A lot of people went to go see that theater. Movie didn't scare me, but that music sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny I say that because I've always said that there's 3 movies that even if people have never seen it, they know the score.
Yeah.
And it's Psycho, Jaws, and Halloween.
78.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even if you've never seen those movies, you've
never seen those movies before. But once you hear that theme music, which John Williams.
Well, how many kids you hear at the pool going, dun, like you hear that all the time. Yeah.
It's true. Like I probably knew Jaws theme song before I had ever seen the movie.
Yeah.
Because I grew up. We lived in a small town, and I would go live with my aunt over the summer, and we had a public pool about a half a mile down the road that me and my cousins would walk to every day, and that all the time. Dun. I was doing that, and I didn't even know what the hell it meant.
Yeah.
I know, because
I think we all did.
No, because after Jaws came out, and me and my friends, we all go to this swimming place called the Lakes, and we all, and my friend Lee would just go and dive into the water and pretend he's a shark by doing dun 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 and scaring all the girls.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's funny.
Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, My theater love playing older films so far. I've seen
Oh,
Jaws,
that's
Child's
awesome.
Play, Alien, Halloween. Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish our theater would do that.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
cool to go
That's
watch some classic
yeah.
horror films in
Oh
theater.
yeah.
That's one thing I think I liked about The Dark and the Wicked is because it didn't promote itself as the scariest movie of all
Yeah.
time, which I hate because that's a downer for me because it's like this. Oh, you're already trying to compare yourself to The Exorcist,
Yeah.
and I thought I really really liked the fact they didn't try to compare itself because it's a very decent horror movie. Really did enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that takes so many twists and turns throughout it too,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't treat you like you're stupid
Mm-hmm.
when you're watching it. It's a very and Brian Bertino, the guy that did The Dark and the Wicked, is also the guy that did The Strangers, the first Strangers film.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know. I remember. Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, the guy knows how to build suspense. He knows how to build drama. And he's a master of doing that. And so, like, you're watching this movie play out, and there's so many scenes where it's like it's playing with your head. What is happening? What isn't happening? What's real? What isn't real?
Yeah.
And it that ending.
Oh
is
yeah.
just like,
That's what really
Yeah.
got me. That
Yeah.
really got me. I'm like,
ultimate gut punch.
For sure.
whoa.
That's one thing we could say about all three of these movies we're talking about. All three of them have downer ass endings.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They do.
All three of these movies.
They do.
What's my favorite horror movie? Oh, Scream.
Minus People Under the Stairs.
No, what's Tatum's favorite?
Oh, okay. I thought she was saying what is ours.
No, she
What's
was asking
yeah.
for it.
Scream.
Yeah.
Scream.
Scream. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Must be a 90s kid. It seems like when it comes to 90s, people grew up during the 90s. Scream is their favorite horror film.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which is fine. I think
It's
Scream
fine,
it's a fine film. It made horror cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Scream really did make horror, and again, I hate sounding like such an old man, but it made horror hip. Like it was cool to like horror after Scream came out, which much love, because without Scream, we wouldn't have a lot of the movies we have today.
Mm-hmm.
So Scream totally revitalized the horror genre.
For sure.
Yeah, because I remember, I can't remember the YouTuber who put up a video about what Scream really did, and I actually did agree with some of his points when Scream first came out. I think what Scream did was create another horror icon in Ghostface, because at that particular time, Freddy, Jason, and Michael, those movies were running out of gas. All those people simply just did not. All those films that they came out for just weren't the same anymore. And even though we did have some decent horror films that came out prior to Scream, we really didn't have a decent slasher film until Scream came out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those films. What I love about Scream is we're about to get Scream 6. And in every movie, you have the same killer, which is Ghostface.
But it's
a different killer under the mask.
I like that.
Yeah, you get a whodunit in
Yeah.
every film except for the new one.
Would have got away with it too.
Yeah, if it weren't for you kids.
It wasn't for you meddling kids. Yeah, I think that's what makes Scream so interesting, is because it's not just the same killer as opposed to where Freddy, Jason, and Michael. Yeah, it's the same costume, but it's always a different killer.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's the reason why it's going to be so interesting when Scream does come out. Who is going to be the killer or killers in this particular version of Scream.
Yeah, I wish I could figure that out for the first time.
I'm really hoping that wasn't.
Yeah, I'm
real.
really hoping that because the scene that we were sent, it was real. It was a real scene from Scream 6, but I'm hoping that
it was just
they shot alternate things.
Yeah.
Like
hopefully.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that's not how it plays out. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but...
No, don't, because we're mad.
Yeah. Ashley and I were extremely unhappy when we saw the way that things played out in the film. I was like, there has to be an alternate cut where this is not really what happens. There can't be this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope that whatever you got sent is not going to be not going to be what's going to be distributed. So like I said, with The Dark and the Wicked, it was a very different type of a tone. Like I said, the ending was a gut punch. something I was not expecting. And when I get something and I don't expect it, I really give the writers credit. I say, you did a great job because you did something I was not expecting it.
And I think that one good thing about The Dark and the Wicked, they could make either an amazing prequel or an amazing sequel.
Well, I mean,
to this film.
They can move on with the entity or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
That's what I'm saying. Like they could do an amazing
somebody else.
Yeah, they could do an amazing prequel or an amazing sequel.
Could move in.
They could go in any direction with this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Like The Cabin in the Woods, you couldn't do a sequel to that movie.
No,
you can't. Yeah, but you can't do a sequel to The Dark and the Wicked because how the film ended. You can either do a prequel or have something else. The entity go after somebody else.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, like, there's so many different ways that this movie could go because they are doing another one. I don't know if you know that.
Oh no,
they have announced that they are expanding the Dark and the Wicked universe. That this will,
which is exciing.
There will be an expansion to this world. So I'm very excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, me too.
I'm assuming Brian's going to is going to be the writing and directing it as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. So, when you first heard of Smile and you saw the trailers, what was your initial thoughts about Smile?
It's going to be garbage.
No, I just thought it was going to be another like Truth or Dare type movie with the silly, Snapchat smile filter. That's what I expected. I did not expect what we got, to be honest.
I went into this movie with absolutely no. Oh, Strange Monkey!
Hey, what's up, Strange Monkey?
Buddy? Love you to death, brother. Yeah, I just, when it comes to Smile, I went into this with no expectations of this movie being good.
I thought we probably seen the scariest parts
in the trailer.
The parts that we did see. So I was like, it was more like that's really the only horror movie that's playing right now.
Let's just go have a fun date night.
Let's go see it. It wasn't like we wanted to. It was just like, that's what's in theater.
And we have the availability to have a date tonight.
Yeah, and we had, a sitter. So we went and seen it, and there was no expectations at all. And what we got, I was actually very pleased with.
I adore Smile. It was my favorite movie last year. It just barely beat out Barbarian and The Black Phone for my favorite film of 2022.
Yeah, it was in my top 5.
Yeah, it was in my top 10 of my horror films I saw last year. Yeah, because I really didn't know what to expect about Smile when I first saw the trailer, and I said, "Is someone doing another Truth or Dare?" I said, "We already had that crap." The only difference I saw, I say, at least they're not doing those silly ass CGI smiles. They actually have the people smiling in the whatchamacallit. And then when I went to go see it, I was like, wow, that was fantastic. I really did enjoy it. It had some decent jump scares in the film. Those smiles were creepy. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like that the actors did the smile themselves. Those smiles were very creepy. And Sosie Bacon was fantastic in the film.
Oh, she's phenomenal.
Oh my gosh, she's so good.
Yeah.
Like Ashley and I were just talking about it because we just seen her in a commercial.
In a commercial with her.
She's in a commercial with Kevin Bacon. Yeah.
And I'm just like, gosh, Sosie Bacon. She's beautiful. She's a great actress. I would love to see her expand, her acting style. I'm glad that she, stepped into horror. Obviously, Kevin Bacon started with horror.
Right. I feel like we're gonna see more of her for sure.
Oh, we got Kyle Gallner was great in this movie.
Yeah.
Like he did a great job in the film. And the same thing, like I feel like Smile for me only had one really effective jump scare, and it was the laptop.
Well, there wasn't a lot of jump scares in Smile, but the ones that did, they also like lingered on. It was like, can you please just get this over with?
That's what I was gonna say. Where this movie and The Dark and the Wicked are very similar, is they both play on anxiety. Nathan, love you, buddy. Make sure you watch Smile.
Yes.
The anxiety, it lingered in this movie. Like there's a certain scene where, again, I don't know people in the chat that haven't seen it, so I don't want to get too in depth, but there's a scene where she's at her fridge with a glass and she turns around and sees something in the kitchen.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about too. Yeah.
You keep expecting something to jump,
and it keeps going and
just keeps going and going.
It's like this everlasting, and then you don't even get a jump
scare.
Yeah,
and then there's no jump scare.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Her husband comes home. Yeah. That's the scare. Oh my god, my husband's home. But yeah, there's just like that moment, and you're like, what's gonna happen here? What's gonna happen? And I feel like Smile is really a love letter to people that battle depression and manic disorders.
Yeah, with any like mental disorder, really.
Yeah.
It definitely is a love letter.
How you can feel like you're so alone,
and nobody understands like what's really going on in your head. Just like in the movie, you don't know what we're seeing is real or if it's not real. Like I feel like it messes with you in that way. Like, is this really happening or is it in her head? So
yeah.
The only thing I could say about Smile that I disliked was the amount of
like the fake out
ending.
Yeah, there was a couple of fake outs.
It was like, come on. Same reason I didn't like the opening of Scream 4. I don't need to see 5 fake out openings.
I did like that. The stab. Yeah, I love that.
I would have to agree with you, Ken. I thought the fake outs and the only thing I didn't like of Scream 4 was the beginning was the fake out. Whatchamacallit. All right, you did it once, good. That's good. You don't need to do it 2 more times.
Right.
We get the gist.
Right.
And that's what Smile did at the ending. You have all these fake out endings, and it's like, okay, come on.
Yeah.
Like it starts to lose its luster once you do it twice.
Yeah, but yeah, she did a fantastic job. No, I thought everyone in the film did a pretty good job as far as acting wise concerned. My favorite part of the film is during the third act. I won't reveal it, but it reminded me. I don't know if you guys played Resident Evil Village.
She's not a gamer. I played it.
I'm not a good video gamer.
You know what I mean? Yeah, there's a thing that happens in the third act kind of resembles something that happens in Resident Evil Village.
Are you talking about when she goes back to the house?
Yeah, when she goes back into the house and then you see that thing appear.
Yeah.
And then that sort of reminds me of something that happens in Resident Evil Village.
I see what you're saying. I know what you're talking about. Well, and the big thing that a lot of people complained about was, Smile was a lot like It Follows. And there are definitely similarities.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. But I think both films are great.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I could see them people saying it like It Follows and The Grudge, because that and the curse that happens here and the thing with The Grudge. I mean, and this film right here, I think it was 7 days before that happened. That happened, But like I said, it was very, very surprising. Didn't expect the film to be that good. And it was on my top 10 horror films of last year.
Yeah, it was my number 1. Like I said, it barely beat out Barbarian and The Black Phone from my number 1 spot.
It was like my third.
Yeah, because it did. Yeah, because I think I had Smile, but then I had Nope, Prey, X, and Pearl. Pearl on top of that.
Yeah.
Prey is unbelievable.
I freaking loved Prey.
Unbelievable.
Like I really wasn't expecting to love it because I'm not really like an Alien fan all that much, but I loved it.
She's never seen Predator.
Or Predator, I don't know why.
You never seen any of the Predator films?
I've seen
the first one.
The first one, but
okay.
And she wasn't, she's not a huge fan of Predator.
Yeah.
So like
it wasn't. It's I don't know.
And that's one thing I try to tell everybody.
Too much Arnold. Too much Arnold.
Yeah, too much man juice.
Yeah, oily muscles.
Hey, here's a fun fact about It Follows. It was filmed in our hometown, baby.
It was. Another movie that makes our hometown look like garbage.
Another movie that makes Detroit look like shit.
They all do.
It's so funny because like some of my favorite horror movies that have come out recently, It Follows, Barbarian, they all take place in Detroit.
Yeah.
And they take place in hey, what's up, Patrick?
Hey, Patrick.
They take place in the worst parts of Detroit.
Yeah, the worst part
to make
of
Detroit look like complete shit. And I'm like, come on, show how beautiful Detroit is, man.
Really is a beautiful
city is so. We just went to Detroit, like to downtown Detroit, last weekend.
We went on Friday.
On Friday to take our girls to Disney on Ice.
Yeah, I saw the little clips on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we're walking through downtown Detroit, and I'm just like, I fucking love this place.
Yeah,
I love being here.
It's a beautiful city. Like some of the outskirts aren't so nice, but
which is just like everywhere.
Yeah, any big cities like that.
I hate when people go to Detroit's bankrupt. Yeah, that was like 20 years ago, dude. Shut up.
We're building back up.
Building back better. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing in Detroit.
It's like this here in Philly. You know, there's bad parts in Philly, but there's Center City is awesome in Center City. I mean, I don't know if you guys watch Servant on Apple. Most of that is filmed right on Spruce Street in downtown Center City, and you know they always show that great part of Center City. Like most of the stuff that's been like Trading Places was filmed right in City, and they showed the old clothespin in Philadelphia. So yeah, we do get Philly gets represented pretty well in some of the films that actually get filmed in the city here.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Detroit never gets shown good. We got like RoboCop. Like we're always getting shit on, man. But like I said, like Mr. Illich before he passed away, he did a lot and put a lot of money into revitalizing downtown Detroit. Like when he moved Old Tiger Stadium to Comerica Park, and then we got Little Caesars Arena, which moved the Detroit Red Wings and the Detroit Pistons into downtown Detroit. So within a half a mile radius, you have Little Caesars Arena, which is the Red Wings and the Pistons.
You have the Lions.
You have Ford Field, which has the Lions, and then Comerica Park, where the Tigers play.
Yeah.
And that whole part of downtown is just so beautiful. Like you go there because you got the Detroit casinos are right there.
Yeah.
The Motown casinos. You got
you have so many good
State
restaurants.
Theater.
Like so many good restaurants.
Slow's Barbecue, Red Smoke, Hockeytown, USA. So many great restaurants. So many great things to see in downtown Detroit. And you won't see your move, creep.
Or the biggest basement ever made.
The shelter
in the Barbarian.
Oh, Barbarian! Yeah, the longest basement ever. I think you're talking about the shelter, like the best basement.
I was like, because I was watching Barbarian, and I was saying, well, darn, how big is this? How big is this basement here?
I know.
As a handyman myself, I was impressed with the size of that tape measure. I was like, I need to get me one of those. Where did they make the 500-foot tape measure?
It was a never-ending tape measure.
Yeah, because in Philly, because we have the obviously the Eagles and Lincoln Financial Park, the Phillies and Citizens Bank Park, Sixers here in Wachovia Center. I mean, Wachovia Center. Yeah, so basically, so we have all our stadiums, right here in South Philly. Even though
we got to come out there, man, because I need to catch the Tigers play the Phillies.
Yeah.
We try to go to different stadiums.
Yeah, we try to go to a different ballpark every year.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Here's a fun fact for you. I proposed to Ashley on the big screen at Comerica Park.
Oh.
Yeah.
After the 6th inning, when the Tigers were playing the Phillies. The Tigers were playing the Phillies when I proposed to Ashley at Comerica Park.
Now since you mentioned that, because you did ask me to tell you this story when we were getting together. Now most people will always ask me, how did Kelly and I meet? I mean, now this was way back in '95. There is no Instagram. There's no Facebook. There's no social media. So you don't have Match.com. You don't have any of the matching date sites. You had to go back to old school newspapers where there was personal ads.
Personal ads, baby.
Yeah, personal ads. Because I had just come off of a very bad experience on New Year's Eve on '94. So I told my friends, I said, you know what? I told my friends, this is when I was still clubbing back in the days. This is where Monty G comes from. I'll tell you about that story another time. So I put an ad in the newspaper. So I think about a week later, Kelly, I had 3 responses, and Kelly was the first one to answer it. So after some talking back and forth, we finally decided to go on a date, and I took her to go see Tales from the Crypt Demon Night.
Nice.
That is awesome.
When your first date's a horror movie, man, it's a good sign.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, she is not a horror fan at all. She's not a horror fan at all. But that's what was our first date. Of course, I kind of embarrassed myself because when we were sitting watching the film, I accidentally, while I'm trying to put my arm around her, I accidentally hit her with my elbow.
He did one of those.
Yeah. It's like,
I still, every time we go to the movies, I still do that. I'll do the, we've been married 18 years. I still do that.
Look
That's
at
a great
you see the
story.
first movie was Titanic.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's cool, Patrick.
Uh,
What
what's
is
the
a
person
personal?
it's the old school way of people meeting each other before social media.
Yeah, you had to knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want them.
Yeah, so that was Kelly and I's first date, and
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome, man. I'm
and of
happy for you.
course she tells me that after the first date she tells her girlfriend that I'm a complete nerd. He said
Well,
he's a nerd. I says, well, but I guess, but she must have found love for me. So because we've been,
Right. She
I'll
must
say
have loved it.
it worked out, brother.
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, I think now because I think one of the best things I did with Smile was they did a nice marketing campaign because. Throughout the baseball fields, they actually had people in smile dresses, and they really was smiling, smiling with that creepy ass grin
Yeah.
behind the home plate.
Yeah, they
And all
have
they did was just sit. All they did was just stand there and smile.
I loved it.
I
I
they
know.
absolutely loved it because obviously, I know I've said it throughout this stream. I'm a huge baseball fan. I love
Mm.
horror movies. I can't live without baseball. Baseball is my passion. It is. If you can see my bedroom, all the baseball shit in this room. We've already got our tickets for opening day in Detroit.
Mhm.
Baseball is something that means so much to me. So when they do stuff like that and they incorporate, when I'm watching an Oakland A's game and I see some lady doing the, like that was brilliant. Like you said, that was brilliant marketing
Yeah.
on the part of the
they
movie.
definitely knew what they were doing.
Right. And I feel like horror fans, oh, Patrick, you son of a bitch.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Patrick's. Poor Patrick. Oh well.
I just feel like a lot of fans, a lot of horror fans that I know, if they do like a sport, they like baseball because there's a lot of analytics that go with it. There's a lot of number-based things, and I feel like we're all nerds in the horror world. We love numbers. We love to crunch numbers, and Monty's like, speak for yourself, nerd.
I know. I was thinking, I'm not no nerd.
Speak for yourself, dork.
Yeah. Hey,
But
put it this
I've
way.
met a lot. Oh yes, thank you, Tommy. Twice on the pipe if the answer is no. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, Aaron Judge, look, I respect him. I respect Aaron Judge. I just wish he had a different logo on his hat. Yeah, a lot of fans of baseball that I know are huge horror fans. I don't know what the correlation is. It's just like horror fans and professional wrestling. A
Oh
lot
yeah.
of horror fans I know love professional
Love
wrestling.
professional wrestling because like I know Sean loves wrestling. I know Brad from Bronco Joe, he loves wrestling. I'm a huge WWE fan. It seems like
Rob,
that seems to
Rob from
goes
that horror couple.
uh-huh.
He's a bit JDev
Mhm.
TV. He's a huge WWE fan.
I'm here to curve your statistic.
Yeah, Ashley's like, yeah, I hate baseball and wrestling, you nerds.
I like Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, so you can
baseball.
watch the Tigers if they're
And
playing.
I can watch my son play, but
Besides that,
yeah.
like the World Series, no chance.
Well, if the Tigers would ever go.
Yes, stop.
Well, I mean, even though I knew we didn't have a chance to beat the Astros, but I was very happy and pleased that the Phillies made it to the World Series here. So
I was rooting for you, man.
Yeah, it was
I
very
was
exciting
rooting
time.
hard for you. Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, you have players on that team that I adore. Like Nick Castellanos is one of my favorite players.
He literally cried when
I cried when he got traded.
You did. You cried.
Hey, Cal.
Hey, Cal.
What's up, buddy? I'm talking about the tribal chief. Yeah. So I mean, I've always been a huge fan, and like I said, I was rooting so hard for your Phillies, Monty. Like I was glued to the TV watching the Phillies. I hate the Astros. I hate them. Hate them. Hate them. Hate them. Hate them. But
it's because of the cheating thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Because I know a lot of people were pulling for. They did not want the Astros to win again because of what happened the previous time, and I knew it was a long shot. And but I really, really did enjoy what the Phillies were able to accomplish this year because no one really expected them to
Right.
not just, I mean, not even win division, but just get in the playoffs, but just get to the play-in and actually go all to the World Series. Yeah, so this town was hyped up. No,
I'll be honest with you.
bet.
The Astros winning it this year
mhm,
pissed me off more because it showed they didn't have to cheat to win. And
Right.
that's what made me so mad because the team that won that World Series was
mhm,
much more talented than the team they put on the field this year. And
mhm,
so they didn't have to do that to win. And that's what made me even more mad. Like, you have the natural talent to win the World Series on your own, and you did what you did. Like, that was an
mhm.
insult to the game. It was an insult to every fan. That made the fact that they went out and won it this year just made me so angry. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you schmucks.
Yeah. So, do you think we'll actually get a sequel to this Smile?
No,
Mm.
nope. I think that I mean, I don't know if you know this or not, Monty, but Smile started off as a short film.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. It's sort of like a Lights Out.
Yes, Lights Out, Saw. It
Mhm.
started off as a short that got bought, and which awesome. Congratulations to you guys. That's an amazing feeling, I'm sure, to have your short bought and turned into a feature.
Mhm.
But I think that I hope not. Let's leave it
Yeah.
at that. I think that the ending is perfect
Mhm.
when you finally get to the end. And I just don't want to see it carried on. I mean, the only way I'm okay with this movie carried on is if they bring Kyle Gallner back and have,
Mhm.
the Smile curse following him. That's the
Yeah.
only way that I'll be satisfied with the sequel. Don't do like a Final Destination 2 where, oh, Devin Sawa died by a falling brick.
Right.
Don't
And
give me a
completely wipe him off.
yeah, Kyle Gallner. Oh yeah, he's dead, but we moved on to this person. Don't do that. If you're gonna do it, continue it the right way and bring Kyle Gallner back and have him be your lead in this film.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Because I thought he and Sosa Bacon had great chemistry together, and yeah, really did. Like I said, it was very surprised, very happy that the film was successful.
Mm.
Yeah, it's any time that an original horror movie is successful, it's great for the horror genre.
Mhm.
Anytime that we can have original horror like this, Terrifier 2, what that just did was amazing. Whether I know it's been one of the most polarizing films of all time, Skinamarink. Whether you love it or you hate it, that movie was filmed on a $15,000 budget and brought
Yeah.
in over $2 million box
Yeah,
office.
that film reminded me of all the films I saw during the '70s, and I really have to give the filmmakers credit on how they film it. Yeah, and I understand the reason why people, I understand reasons why people like it because there's very little dialogue and not a lot happens. But I loved how it was filmed, and I loved the atmosphere in the film because it's very creepy looking film, just basically on how they shot it.
Yeah.
It is a slow burn.
Yes.
But like I said, for you to film a movie on $15,000, and this is 15,000 Canadian, so that's like 11.5 US
Hmm.
dollar. So to film a movie on 11.5 US and bring in 2 million is ridiculous.
Hmm.
And just like Terrifier, that movie brought in like what 20 million box office, and it was filmed on 15. That was filmed on like 200,000 and brought in 23 million. Like, like, why studios? Why aren't you buying horror movies?
Yeah.
Like, that's where I get like, your Avatars and your Avengers movie. They bring in 500 million in the box office. They cost 200 million to make. You better bring in that much.
Hmm.
When you have a movie that's cost 11,500 and bringing in 2 million, you've made some cash.
Oh yeah.
You've made some good money at this point.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Somebody, I think you might know this person, the Clintonville slasher.
Louis,
Hey, Louis.
what's up, bud? Yeah, great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah, I think what it is when it comes to films such as whether it's the Blair Witch Project or a Paranormal Activity, where you have it doesn't cost them a lot of money to make it, and then all of a sudden it's a huge hit, and it makes back its money and then some. I think that's one of the great things you can see when it comes to independent filmmakers. When they
Mm-hmm.
finally get something and it really turns into gold. So you really got to give them credit for still trying.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Okay, so I think that's basically all the films we were going to go over there, unless there's some other films you want to talk about.
Anything you want to talk about, baby?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that's about it from us.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, then. So basically, what I like to do on our live streams, I like to give my guests a chance to go on ahead and get a free spill about what's coming up on Sledgehammer Horror.
All right. The rest of this week, tomorrow actually, we have our My First Horror Movie episode coming out with Jared Odom of No Motive Collectibles. I'm actually looking it up right now. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we will be live with the beautiful Haunted Hippie and the beautiful women of the double feature horror podcast, Mika and Kira. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m., we will be counting down our top 10 favorite female villains of all time.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be an interesting one. And then on Friday, we have our My First Horror Movie episode with Ashes to Ashes of Kill the Dead podcast and Rise from the Dead podcast. And something I'm very excited about, on Saturday, we have a special episode of Didn't See That Coming coming out on the movie Pray for the Devil.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for you guys to see this. One thing I could say about this episode of Didn't See That Coming is if you haven't seen Pray for the Devil, make sure you check it out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep. So we talk about the twist that comes with that movie, and some of the other crazy things that happened in the movie. Like I said, Ashley went all out on her behind the scenes. And what's even more fun is Ashley and I played dress up for this episode of Pray for the Devil. That's all I'm going to say about that. Like we definitely we got into character for our Pray for the Devil episode.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of fun with it. A good friend of ours, Jackie, she is the lead in Pray for the Devil. And so, to be able to do a movie that a friend of ours is in meant a lot to us as well.
Yeah.
So I know another movie that's very polarizing in the horror genre. Either people loved it or people hated it. I'm hoping more people loved it. If you're into supernatural horror, like exorcism style movies, I think this might be the movie for you. If that's not really your bag, probably not the movie for you.
Yeah, I did enjoy the movie. It's one of the better possession, the Exorcist movies I've seen in a while. So I give credit for what they attempted to do in that particular film. I can't wait to see that one. That's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's something that we were honored to do.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. We were very honored to do this. I think that I have a lot of friends in the community that weren't huge fans of the movie, but I feel like those people also aren't big fans of exorcism movies in general.
Yeah.
I think that they took some major risks in some of the things they talked about with this movie.
Yeah, I think the way they went about it is different than a lot of exorcism movies. So, yeah.
And the twist got me. I didn't see that coming. The big twist. I didn't see it coming. So maybe that's why we did an episode on it. Check that out. Hopefully you guys, check it out, and hopefully you enjoy it. Another episode that took a lot of work, Ashley writing to get done. So I'm very excited for everybody to be able to see that episode premiering on Saturday. And if you're here, join us tomorrow night on our channel at 9:00 to count down our favorite female villains of all time.
Yeah, I was going to check that out. All right, what I have coming up on my channel is that I will have my review. Hopefully, should get that up before the weekend. Is the review of Infinity Pool. Hopefully, I'll get that up sometime this week. My latest series, horror films from the 70s. I'll be talking about Salem's Lot. the
Oh,
Nice.
1977 version. And I should have my last one-on-one interview with Katie from Popping the Popcorn
Oh,
for
cool.
Women in Horror Week. I'm trying to get that put up before the end of this week to celebrate Women in Horror Month.
yeah.
Nice. That's
Mm.
awesome.
Katie's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, she's very yes. So, yeah. So once again, I want to thank Ken and Ashley for coming on my channel once again. So hopefully we'll get together on their channel as well. There is something else I want to make a discussion about with you guys. We'll do this when this is over with because it's something I would like to do. But I'll tell you
Yeah.
about it when we're done with this here.
Okay.
But
Perfect.
once again, for my horror fans here, I want to thank you all for coming. Once again, stay safe out there and always remember that horror rules. All right. Good night, everybody.